Steve here. Hope all is well with you. So, like a lot of you, I've been binge watching on Netflix just to keep my mind off of things. And one of the first things that I had binge watched was Tiger King. So, I just thought I'd give a quick review of what I thought of Tiger King. Well, my first thought about Tiger King is don't buy a tiger. Don't do it, people. I know a lot of you are watching Tiger King, and you find out that you can buy a tiger for $2,000, and it sounds cool. But I mean, did you not see how that turns out for Joe Exotic and so many others? It just seems like a terrible, terrible idea to have a tiger because then you have to feed it, and that costs a lot of money. So you open a zoo, and then the zoo has to make money, so you start, giving away the tiger's cubs, and you end up running a sex cult and all sorts of troubles. I just shouldn't laugh. I actually thought this documentary was just depressing on so many levels. I just don't understand what people see in it because I see all these memes for Joe Exotic, and it looks like it's going to be a fun time. Joe Exotic, he looks pretty flamboyant, and all the other people involved, but no, it's depressing, kind of what happens to Joe Exotic. Although I don't really cry a tear for him. I didn't like him. I'm going to put that out there right now. I did not like Joe Exotic. I thought he's kind of a user. He just uses people to get what he wants. It's all about him. I think one of the things that really sort of annoyed me is where he's trying to get out of this lawsuit with Carol Baskin. And the way he does is that he keeps changing who owns the zoo. It keeps changing hands, so someone else will be left responsible for it. He does this with one of his husbands, he does this with his parents, and then all of a sudden all the heat is on them. I thought, what a dick move. I mean, it's basically his fault that these people are suing the zoo to begin with, and now he's just going to try to bring more people into his bullshit. So like I said, I did not like Joe Exotic. Just in general, this thing made owning tigers look bad. Like I said, you get these tigers. Everyone thinks they're going to be cool when they're little kittens, but then they grow into 300 pounds. And you run into all sorts of trouble, like the drug dealer. I mean, I actually believed his story where he says, I really want to get all these exotic animals. I had to pay for them, so I became a cocaine kingpin. I was like, oh, no. I mean, maybe it's really the other way around. He was a cocaine kingpin. He said, you know what, I'm a cocaine kingpin in the 80s. I'm going to give me some exotic animals. But part of me thought it was the other way around. And that's kind of depressing that he would take up that occupation just to fulfill his fetish for animals. And like Joe Exotic, look what happens to him. He ends up in jail. Let's get into that. Do I think Joe Exotic was guilty of what he was accused of? All the animal rights, all the animal abuse violations, yes. He had a kind of a shoddy zoo, and I'm pretty sure he killed and euthanized tigers. A lot of people have backed that up. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that whatever animal abuse charges he was charged with and trafficking and whatnot, he was probably guilty of it. As far as him trying to have Carol Baskin killed, maybe not. He could have been set up. It did seem like the guys he was talking to set him up like entrapment. But at the same time, it seemed like he was sniffing around for someone to kill her. And seeing how I've mentioned, let's just get into Carol Baskin. Oh, yeah, that lady annoyed me too. One thing, I'll give her credit. She's right about all the tiger stuff. She says, hey, don't buy the tigers. Your life's going to go to shit. And then your tiger's going to end up with me. But at the same time, she's so, like, smug and pious and whatnot. Like I said, hypocritical. Because, one of the first things you're introduced to her, she's talking about how tigers will no longer be in cages. And right behind her is a fucking tiger in a cage. She's basically running a zoo herself. She criticized Dr. Angler, or whatever the hell the guy is. The guy who had all the sexy ladies around him because of the tigers. And also ran a zoo. Okay, that also explains Jeff Lowe. the guy went on Letterman with animals. You know, she says, hey, this guy, he uses these tigers, he sets up a cult. And then she starts talking about her volunteers who just show up at her zoo. It's a zoo. And she doesn't pay them, and they have a color-coded hierarchy. And she does not know the people at the bottom one bit, because she says, until you're useful to me, I won't know your name. And it's like, oh, you know, Joe Exotic and Dr. What's his name? They're not the only ones running a fucking cult based on tigers. So, yeah. Like I said, I just found, before I ended, the question, do I think Carol Baskin killed her husband? It's another, I don't know, it sounds possible. You know, it's just been Zoe Exotic's accusations against her. I said, no, he's just bitter because she's going after him for all the animal abuse stuff. And he's just looking for something to hold against her. And she's got a missing husband, so he's going to accuse her of murder. But, the documentary series, they left Oklahoma, they go to Florida, they start talking to these whole other group of people. And, they made you rethink how you look at Carol Baskin. Well, it seems possible that she killed her husband. I definitely think that will that they produced, where her husband said, oh, if I go missing, my wife gets the stuff, that was definitely fake. But at the same time, maybe he just went missing because he crashed his plane, and Carol just kind of swooped in like a vulture to make sure she got all that inheritance. So I don't necessarily know if she killed her husband or not. I will say it's possible. And one of the weirdest things that I saw during that episode that I noticed was that when they went to the detective in the case, they had the interview set up in his living room. And at this point, you've seen all sorts of people that have all this sort of artwork in their houses. Everyone on the interview seemed to be in the knickknacks, and this guy was no exception. And they had a monkey butler statue, technically a chimpanzee in a tuxedo, and it had this tray, and I guess you just set your beer on it. And I'm thinking, okay, that's cool. I can understand why you would have something like that, but if you're, a retired detective talking about an old murder investigation to a documentary film crew, why would you have the monkey butler in that shot? I just thought it was weird. It's like, he's talking some serious stuff in a serious detective manner, and there's a fucking chimpanzee statue next to him, of a chimp as a monkey butler. Yeah, I thought that was weird. But all around, Tiger King just depressed me.